Hey, business building warrior. This is Jim coming at you with another episode of Silent Sales Machine Radio. Today, I'm talking to a panel of experts from our team. These are all folks who have been in e-commerce for a long time. They've built incredible businesses. They've served with excellence in our community and leadership roles of many different kinds. And we're going to talk about the fourth quarter. Of course, I'm talking about the final 3 months of the year, every year. Those are the busiest shopping months by far. This is where we get the term Black Friday, of course, right? That's when retailers finally go from being in the red to being in the black. They're making money for the year. They finally made a profit. That's the Q4 magic. So what's different about the fourth quarter as an online seller? If you're into selling on Amazon or eBay or Walmart, what happens? Well, a lot more people are spending a lot more money online, just like they do in all of retail. How do you take advantage of that as a seller? That's what the panel is in place to talk about today. But specifically, we have groups that we form this time of year. We call it the Proven Q4 Plan. You can go to Proven Q, the letter Q, then 4, the number 4, then the word plan, provenq4plan.com, and check out the full details. But we're going to help equip you to not just do great in the fourth quarter, but also propel into 2023 with the best possible information, motivation, and mastermind group. So part of our Proven Q4 plan this year is to put you into a mastermind group of fellow sellers who already have some momentum, because there's an entrance minimum. There is a low bar that we've set. If you're brand new, you can't get into our Proven Q4 groups this year. You just can't. We want you to go through the Proven Amazon course. We've got Kickstart program there. We'll put you in a group and you'll be mentored for a short period of time to get yourself going and get the business rolling. It's very inexpensive to do that, but that's where you should be if you're new. But if you've sold $5,000 within a recent rolling 30-day period on Amazon using the replens models that we teach, well, we really want you in the Proven Q4 Plan group so we can get you into a mastermind and go through this fourth quarter content that I'm going to talk about today with our panel. I've got Jimmy Smith, Honey Woods, and Ryan Rieger, who are going to join me in just a moment. We're going to talk about this year's Proven Q4 Plan offer and how you can take full advantage of selling in the fourth quarter of the year, even if you're not an experienced seller, even if you're not going to join our fourth quarter groups. We've got some great tips and strategies for you to help put into perspective the opportunity that's coming your way as we approach the final 3 months of the year. And if you didn't realize it, for most sellers in our community, January is a huge month as well, because people are spending all of those gift certificates they receive, those gift cards. So this is going to be good, relevant content no matter where you're at on that spectrum. Hopefully you find it encouraging. We're here to serve you. And I'm so honored that you hang out and listen to this podcast. Before I get my panels on here real quick, could I just ask you a quick favor? If you do enjoy this podcast, could you go to silentjimdotcom to whatever listening app you're using on that page, or maybe where you're listening right now, and leave us a review, 5 stars, or subscribe, thumbs up. Share silentjim.com with friends. That's our marketing for this show. And you're doing a great job of it, by the way, because our numbers continue to shoot up. About 100,000 downloads per month on iTunes alone, plus all the YouTube and the other podcast platforms. It really adds up to significant community listening to the show. And you've done the heavy lifting on that. And I'm so grateful for that. All right, let's get our fourth quarter experts on the show right now. Let's go. All right, welcome panel. And glad you guys could join me today, and listeners as well. But Ryan, how about we kick it off with you, man? Let's talk Q4.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something we've been doing a very long time. I don't know how many, I think, probably 2013 or 2014, we started doing these groups. And
several years. Yeah.
Gotten better every year. Before, as you guys remember, Jimmy was probably a part of some earlier ones. They were pretty much just only about the deals. Like you just came in there to get deals, and we just kind of realized, you know what, we can do so much better than that. And started to provide content and the coaching aspect with the group, the community, having that be a part of it. Before it was pretty much just WhatsApp groups with deals. And I don't know, now you learn where people are getting stuck. You learn how you can serve people better. And I think we're doing that. I think this will be the best one because we've learned from past, I don't know, mistakes. I mean, I'm sure we've made mistakes, but we learned from what we've done in the past and just always looking to make it better and serve people on a higher level.
Yeah, you mentioned the deals, and just to kind of explain what that is. I mean, anyone who's offering to spoon feed you, hey, go buy this, and you're giving it to a group of people, like it's not going to be that great of a deal. Even if it is Q4 and stuff's flying off the shelf, you're going to see a lot of price tanking and that sort of thing. That's why we don't do a whole lot with lists, lead lists. It's a good jumping off point, perhaps, to start to do some research. But another big difference this year that we want to address right off the top is this isn't for new sellers this year. So, honey, why don't you take us through that? What was our thinking? Because we've kind of put our brains together this year and said, hey, let's do something that serves sellers who've actually hit a threshold. And what did we say, Ryan? Was it 5,000 in a recent
5,000 in a rolling 30-day period? Yep.
Yeah. In a recent rolling 30-day period, you need to have sold $5,000, which isn't a high bar, but it is a bar that many people haven't crossed. So why did we set that bar this year, honey? Talk us through that.
Yeah. So first, I want to say we absolutely do love new sellers. This just isn't something that's going to be geared directly for you. We have other content that is perfect and great for you, and we'll talk about that too. But this year, it is about providing the best content that we can for those sellers that have got in, have started selling. You don't have to be a big seller for this. You just need to be someone that is, sent some things in, sold a few things, and we're going to walk you through the Q4 process. What do you do when, the seasonal things hit, when you have the craziness of the season? And sometimes it can get really wild and really busy. And so we're going to have things that are specifically for you, and not just the brand new sellers. I know I actually started selling in Q4 many years ago, and I would not recommend it personally. It was kind of a, throw it and see what sticks, right? It was just you're guessing. It's so high paced that it is really good for those people that are already kind of know a little what they're doing. And we can help you to focus on your business and how to really utilize Q4 and not be kind of guessing and wondering how in the world do we do this? Because it's really high paced, a lot of fast stuff going on, a lot of things to learn. So we want to make sure that we provide quality content for those of you that you've gotten your feet wet. You don't have to be a massive seller, but like we said that, $5,000 in sales, rolling 30 days. So it's, you don't have to be a massive seller. You just need to know a little what you're doing. And we're going to help you expand that and grow that with some really quality content this year.
Yeah. And of course, Jimmy, before we hear from you, just to riff off something that Honey just shared, of course, we're talking about the proven Q4plan.com fourth quarter offer that we have. Because every year, most retailers online and in the real world do most of their sales during those magical 3 months of the year leading up to Christmas. So it gets crazy. And if you want to take full advantage of it, there's a lot of moving parts. Mm-hmm. And Honey just said it's not necessarily the time to get started. Well, not in the Q4 groups, because can be a lot of information. We're going to hit you with a lot of details. If you're an experienced seller, you're not going to feel like you're in over your head. If you're new, there's never a bad time to start. Yeah. One thing I would say. And actually, you'll find the barrier to entry probably a little easier in fourth quarter because there are so many good deals to be had, things that can be flipped, right?
Yeah.
But not the Q4 groups. This year, we really want to focus in on the more experienced sellers. So we're not spending a lot of time saying, hey, how do I put tape on a box again? Like that's what the Proven Amazon course
Yes.
steps you through those basics, right? So Jimmy, what are we leaving out so far? Where do you want to go next, man? Let's talk folks through this.
Yeah. So I actually started in Q4 too. So it was December 2015. It was towards the end there. So we've got a pretty good history here of people starting in Q4. But, for me, it's just at a certain point, we want the Q4 groups to grow on each other, right? To kind of have a good progression. And so that's why I really like that we're stepping this up to where we have, a $5,000 rolling 30-day minimum, because now we've got the ability to say, hey, if you were in the Q4 groups last year, you're getting a bunch of additional content to help you continue to grow your business, not just in Q4 of this year, which obviously it's the focus, but also in moving forward into 2023, which is crazy to think that that's already here. But moving forward into 2023, what can we do to help you sustain that momentum, right? We want to make sure that if you've been in the Q4 groups last year, the year before, or any of the prior years, that you're continuing to grow in Q4 to grow your business. And so that's my heart behind it, and why I'm excited for, the little bit of a change up that we're doing this year, is just because we can build on those things. We can help sellers that are still newer, right? I mean, $5,000 in a 30-day period is not, extremely advanced, but we can help you go from that newer stage to, a much more advanced stage. And if you are advanced, we can even help you progress further there too, because we're going to help build those masterminds. We're going to talk about tax strategies and branded bundles and all these other things that maybe you would be interested in adding into your business. And so that's my heart behind it. That's why I'm excited to help people continue to grow their business beyond Q4.
Yeah, I think that's a great intro to this topic. And again, just to reset the room, and then I'll kind of lay out an agenda for the rest of this discussion today. But we're talking about the busiest shopping months of the year, November, December, that would be October, November, December. That's typically where most of the shopping is done, primarily focusing on November and December. That's really when things get crazy. So in the middle of September 2022, we're going to kick off our proven Q4 plan groups. If you've got some experience selling on Amazon, you've been through the proven Amazon course, so you understand replens, you've sold $5,000 in a recent 30-day period, this is for you. If that's not you, you need the proven Amazon course to get started. But here's the rest of the agenda. I'd like to talk about some of the things that we're going to hit. We've got a bunch of incredible experts in our community that bring creative talent, and they're going to be contributing in a big way to our groups this year. And you mentioned, Jimmy, briefly, I'm super excited about this. We've never even considered doing this before, but I think it's got a lot of momentum. We're going to help you form a mastermind group out of these experienced sellers. So if all you get out of this is the fact that you're now in a group instead of doing this alone, that's huge. We're going to talk about that. And Jimmy, you mentioned as well, it's going to extend into January. So those are the things I think I'd like to cover, maybe some of the features, so people can make a good decision if they want to be a part of this with us or not. So who wants to go next? Ryan, maybe we bounce back up to you. I haven't heard from you in a minute. Where do we want to go next?
The mastermind thing, I could just tell you guys that early on in my Amazon selling career, I guess you could say, I had a group of guys that we met with, and I'm telling you, that increased my business more than anything else, having those weekly calls with that group. And we see all the time the people that are in mastermind groups, you just go faster. And and Jim, you talk about this and stuff we learned from Rabbi Lappin. You don't want to do this alone. You're not meant to do this business alone. Any business, you're not meant to live life alone. And so that mastermind thing is, I think that's going to be the thing. That alone right there, if somebody just got in, like you said, just for that, it's well worth the price of investment, because that will move you farther faster than anything I can imagine.
And let's talk through how we're going to do that too, because we're adults, we're entrepreneurs with our own businesses. You're perfectly capable of forming a mastermind on your own organically. And what we're doing here, though, is we're putting you all kind of in the same virtual room. And you can form groups of 3, 5, 9 on your own over the course of this. Right. But towards the end, if that hasn't happened, talk a little bit about what our plans are there, Ryan.
Yeah. So we'll probably do what we've done in Legends, which we grabbed a list of people that wanted to be in a mastermind that weren't. And I had Sarah Robinson, who's awesome, help me just put people in place. We had mastermind leaders, which are just facilitators that made sure the group was going to happen. So we're going to have reactive coaches from the Jim Cockrum coaching program be the facilitators to make sure that the Zoom call happens and gets the schedule, but they're not going to probably be teaching anything necessarily. And then we will just put people together. I think Sarah put them, kind of jumbled them up. Actually, there wasn't necessarily, there was some thinking from her part, but it wasn't, we didn't spend hours and hours and hours deciding, well, honey goes here and Jimmy goes over here.
Yeah, personality profiles or nothing like that.
Didn't do any of that.
It's just not necessary.
So far, it's worked out really, really well. I mean, there's new people in the group and seasoned people in these groups, and we're getting really great feedback. And there's some people that drop out and we get new people in. And so, we will facilitate that for the folks that have not had a chance to do that organically during that. And because we just feel like that's so important.
Well, you just triggered a thought in me too, because you're saying we've got new people and experience. Maybe someone's thinking like, oh, I want to be in a group with a bunch of experienced people. Let me just make kill two birds with one stone here. We've got our Kickstart Bootcamp for new proven Amazon course students. Mm-hmm. And I just today, before this call with you guys, I haven't told you this yet. I had an interview, a podcast interview with a very new student. He's 2 months in, building an incredible business, loves all of our programs, using a great virtual assistant and all that, doing great. But he said, as part of that Kickstart Bootcamp, I went through with a group of, I think he said 7 or 9 people. New proven Amazon course students have the option to do this. Contact our support team if you're curious about this. But that group organically formed a mastermind. And he said, it's all new people. We're all kind of brand new to this, but still the support and the camaraderie. We're all being challenged forward faster because of it. So it's not like you need to have a Jimmy Smith or an Oscar Matumbo or someone else who's been doing this a long time on your team for it to be impactful.
Right.
It's just the fact that you're not doing it alone that makes it so significant.
Yeah. You don't want to show up to that meeting like, hey, I told everybody last week I was going to, look and find 3 replens. I don't want to show up to that meeting with Honey and Jimmy and not have done that work. And so it just makes you do it. Because another way to think about this is almost just an accountability group. That alone is, you could transfer those words kind of. I know mastermind groups have other connotations in other circles. But with us, it does not matter if there's just all brand new folks in it, because you will learn from each other and push each other along.
But if a group needs help, we're here. Obviously, that's part of the benefit of this is if you get in a group and everyone's just looking at each other with crickets chirping, we'll step in. Let us know. We're here to help.
Exactly.
For sure. But where do you want to go next, Honey? What else? What pops out to you? Just kind of go around the horn here.
I was just thinking about the list of people that we have signed up to present and to help in the group. I chatted a little briefly with a lot of them, and they are so excited and so pumped to help you in your businesses. This isn't just like, hey, here's a bunch of content, good luck. We want to see you guys succeed. And so we've got quality people that are going to be presenting things that are going to be so valuable to your business. A lot of just different stuff than, hey, go find some replens. We'll have those moments of walking you through, okay, we'll do some, watch us do some online arbitrage, those kind of things that are really helpful. And you can always learn little things along the way. But, talking with, an Amazon suspension attorney, you may have questions about things or what happens if this comes up or this thing, what about this thing going on? Those things, once you've been selling for a little while, you're going to have a lot of different questions as opposed to the, where do I put the stickers? And so we're going to have those things that are going to be at your level, just really quality content, people that really want to help you and see you succeed in your business and are excited. We've got, Kate Chaddock going to be helping with merchant fulfillment, which she is a rock star at, among other things. We have other content, selling on other platforms, because there's some things you may not be able to sell on Amazon. And so we want to make sure you can still sell that stuff. In Q4, stuff sells everywhere. I know our main focus is Amazon, but, we've got eBay and Walmart content for those that are selling there or, wanting to do that. Just like we talked about the masterminds, we have Adam Wilson come in to discuss and talk about masterminds. I actually did a session at the conference
with Adam. He and I had a packed room actually, and great conversation. And we started off the session. Hey, this is just a couple of weeks ago, and the topic was how to form a mastermind from this community. And so I started off and I said, okay, if you want to be a part of a mastermind and you're not in a mastermind yet, raise your hand. And pretty much everyone's in the room. And I said, okay, the person on the left and right is now your mastermind. Session is over. And I pretended to walk out, right? Like it really can be that simple, because once you find yourself in a room of people who are trying to do this business, they're obviously motivated enough to pay to attend an event or pay to be part of the Proven Q4 plan groups. You're in good company now to say, hey, with just about anybody, if all we know is they're trying to build a profitable business and they've already got a little bit of momentum, you're in the company of people that would make a great mastermind. And I love Adam's mastermind, the way it's kind of formed organically, diverse backgrounds, economic situations, educations, worldviews, just the most, it looks like you picked 5 random people out of the mall one Saturday afternoon or something, but they have just gelled and built these relationships. And they're super close. Like at our live event here in Louisville a couple of weeks ago, they rented a house and all stayed there together. Their mastermind, different ages, different backgrounds. It was incredible. I just love it. So that's the vision, and if you will, almost the model of like, let's do this at a bigger scale. And we've seen a lot of these groups emerge. So let's put some intentionality behind it. So that's this one of, and I'm just looking over the faces. Any of these names jump out to you, Jimmy, as you're looking over? There's one on there particular I think you know pretty well.
Yeah, my mom.
Your mom.
Yeah. Business taxes in the new year. That's everybody's favorite topic, right? Taxes. But, she gets tasked with being that person. But yeah, and I'm super excited for it. One thing too, to me, and I know we've kind of really hit home the mastermind side of things, but to me, it's like, since it's Q4, the gift that keeps on giving, right? You're paying for a Q4 group, but then this is going to continue on, right? You're going to continue on with these masterminds. It's not just a Q4 group. It's something that maybe, hopefully years into the future, you'll still be meeting with these people. And so I love that. Also, we did decide this year, a lot of different, Q4 groups will run through December, right? That's what we always did. We ran through the end of December. But what I've seen in my business and what I've seen for most Amazon businesses is that Q4, the busiest selling seasons, are going to be from mid-November till about mid-January. And so I'm pumped that we've now got, we're actually extending our Q4 groups through the end of January so that we can not only continue to capitalize on the busiest selling season of the year, which is still at the beginning of 2023. The reason, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know that, is typically because people are spending their gift cards. But also, we're going to be able to use that January period to look at items that you can do to carry that momentum forward. The things that you can start adding into your business so that 2023 is your best year yet. And so for me, that is a huge piece. But looking at the list, and I've got a separate screen over here, and we've got everybody here are leaders in the community. So that means just a rock star bunch to be able to go through lead list sourcing and advanced Keepa content, all these different people on here. I'm super excited to see how this goes.
Several coaches from our team on here. Our coaching director, Nathan, talking about branded bundles. So that is a great momentum builder into, I think at the beginning of a year is a good time to look at your sales data and say, what are my top replens? The ones that are really flying off the shelf, getting a lot of eyeballs, look at some of those Amazon reports, say, can I capitalize on this and maybe create a few bundles that have the momentum of a brand that sells well, but I stick it in my own branded box? That's the provenbrandbuilding.com module inside the Proven Amazon course. Nathan's the guy that put it together. He's our coaching director. He's going to do a presentation on that with plenty of Q&A as well. And that's a great build momentum in 2023 type of topic, to get these ASINs that you are the only one that can sell it. And we've got some people putting up huge numbers. One of the latest coaches we just brought on our team is blowing us away with the results he's getting with almost exclusively that model. Who else do you want to talk about on here? What names haven't we mentioned yet?
Oh, well, I don't think I talked about the names. I know I said lead list sourcing, but Leah Modlin is going to be leading that session. She is obviously there's a huge component for anybody that went through the OA Simplified course. A huge component of that was sourcing from lead lists. And we will have deals, that we'll be posting into groups. That's not the main focus of this, but you can use those deals and put that into practice with some of the stuff that Leah is going to be talking about with sourcing from lists. We've got Brian Olson for the advanced Keepa content, Ryan Robinson for selling on Walmart, Greg Perry for eBay. So yeah, those are some of the other names that I'm seeing.
Who knows Chris well? Knowing Your Numbers, Chris Lovelace. Have you worked with them much, Jimmy?
I know Chris, but Brian would know Chris better than I would. I know that Chris works actually a little bit with my mom on different things. So Chris has some stuff from Knowing Your Numbers, and then he has worked with my mom on a couple of different things as well. But I know Ryan would probably know him more than I would.
Yeah, Chris is a bookkeeper. I know your mom, Jimmy's been getting, because of all the stuff that you're doing, she's been getting overloaded with leads, and she's wanting to focus more on the accounting side of things, doing the CPA work. So she's actually, I think, given some leads over to Chris to do their bookkeeping. So Chris has a bookkeeping service, but he just has a heart to help people out, Jim, and he loves, especially in our Legends group, getting on calls with people, going under the hood of their Amazon business, going into their account they'll have questions like, why am I not selling this anymore? And he'll help them figure out their turn rate and just, some of the numbers of an Amazon business that you have to know, or, it's nice to know in order to make wise decisions on your purchasing. So that'll be really, really good to have him be a part of this.
Yeah. So everyone we're mentioning here in this segment these are experts on our team and from our community who have proven themselves as capable, competent leaders. They have incredible businesses of their own on Amazon, and they're going to help us during our Proven Q4 Plan groups. Just quite a collection that we have here of folks. And you mentioned briefly, honey, Jeff Schick. He's kind of new to our community, but man, what a resource he is. He's an actual lawyer who understands IP and account health and suspension issues. And it's been very refreshing, the phone calls that I've had with him. And I've got his text, so I've pinged him a few times on some tricky situations. This guy knows his stuff, and he's connected in a way that really puts you at ease as an Amazon seller on virtually all of those issues. He's like, yeah, no sweat. I've seen that 50 times before. And pretty much anything you throw at him, it's really nice. One of my first conversations, I said, you can get pretty much anybody their account back if they're suspended, unless they were selling counterfeit goods, right? And he goes, no, even then I can. I mean, it takes a little more work. I'm like, wow, like this guy's seen it all. And he said that, and now if you're doing counterfeit intentionally, that's different. But you can accidentally do some counterfeit, and Amazon will understand. You write a letter and tell them you're not going to do it again and get the right connection. So he's really navigated some tricky waters with sellers over the years, and a great resource. So to get to know him and have him as a resource is going to be a real blessing for a lot of us, I think. And we haven't talked about Pablo yet. I know, Jimmy, you know him pretty well. What's he bringing to the table?
Yeah, so Pablo, I'm currently in the works, and I don't know what all we're talking about with future content, but Pablo is going to be speaking about basic prep and ship. And so he's really specialized the process of, if you're a newer seller, how do you take your home space and maximize it so that you can be as efficient as possible and streamlined as possible with your prep and ship process. And so I've known Pablo for a few years now. He actually went through my biblical business leaders like Mastermind that I did with a few other guys. And he's just a wealth of knowledge and information. And he's really taken the prep and ship process and applied the outsourcing piece, or the systems piece, to doing it from home. And I did a webinar with him in the refunds group just on some basic content, and it was a huge hit. And so that I probably had more questions on that webinar than most of my other webinars that I've done. I know he got more questions than if I was doing a webinar by myself. It was a huge hit in the group. And so I'm excited to have him in the Q4 groups as well.
It reminds me a little bit, what he brings to the table is kind of, did any of you guys see, what was the name of that movie? The Ray Kroc story, McDonald's story. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, The Founder.
Was it The Founder? Was that it?
I think so.
Something like that. But remember that scene where they were went out on a field and like mapped out the layout of like, where should the fry station be? Where should the hamburger buns be? Like, where should the shake machine? And they were just like moving the customers and this like that's kind of what Pablo is what I envision anyway. It's like, put this here, then you put this here, like lay out your station in a way that your workstation, assuming you're doing your own prep. Now, a lot of our sellers don't even do their own prep. They use a prep center or a neighbor, but even still, just understanding the workflow. It's good to have someone who kind of thinks that way on the team now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of it too. I mean, that's another reason why having, a $5,000 minimum on this for the 30 days is important, because, the first $5,000 in sales, you're probably just trying to figure things out, get shipments into Amazon. But Pablo can really, I'm hoping with the webinar that we'll do, is he's going to go through how to streamline that in your own home if you decide to do the prep yourself. Yeah. If not, then we've talked about prep centers plenty, and we might actually, I don't know if we'll talk about it or how much we'll talk about it in the Q4 groups. I don't know if we have anybody scheduled right now, but it's definitely a topic we can discuss if people are interested.
Oh, absolutely. Dive a little deeper, finding the right one and how to transition to them. And should I use more than one? There's a lot of questions we can dive into, have some fun with the more advanced sellers on that topic. Mm-hmm. All right. Very good. Well, anything else on the list of names? Anything else we want to say? We talked about it. We've got Leanna. She's talking about unbranded bundles. You can still just throw a few items together and sell them like crazy. You're not protecting yourself necessarily from other sellers coming along, but anyone can create a unique bundle, and some people do really, really well with them. You don't have to necessarily brand them to do it. So Leanne's going to talk about that. I know she's been doing that for a while herself with a lot of success. So that's another great topic we'll have in there. But anyone else that we haven't mentioned, I think we've hit.
Our VAs, Jim, we're loving Brian Olson and his advanced Keepa strategies with going to the data tab. That's helped them find a lot of new leads. So that'll be really good.
Yeah, and I'm actually working with Brian and Rob. I'm talking about content that's coming down the pike. I've got a board here to my left that has, no joke, about 20 pins on it with different projects. A couple of them are the stuff that Pablo's working on. We just mentioned him, and that's content that's going to go into the Proven Amazon course pretty fast. And just, laying out your workstation and all that, it's coming. No timeline yet. But another one is Brian and Robin Olson. They're working on, they've got the advanced Keepa content that's already in there, but they've got 7 other similar modules that they're working on right now that are equally creative ways to use Keepa to uncover a great replens. So yeah, they're kind of emerging as some Keepa experts, creative use of Keepa experts for finding replens. So excited to have them on the team. Great coaches, by the way. We're blessed with some great coaches. But what have we left off, guys? Anything? I didn't want this to just be, total sales pitch. It's not. It's an education on here's the things that are coming. If you're building a real business, these are the topics and issues you're going to be facing. So figure them out on your own, or come on into our community and join us as we discuss these together. The price is going to be really low. We haven't set the price yet as we're recording this, but it's going to be insanely low for the value we're going to intend to deliver. But any other thoughts as we start to wrap this one up? I think we've hit it pretty clean.
Yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything. For me, Q4 is always an exciting time. You can either choose to go out there and find all the deals and really, run it hard. I've done that, for a few years. The first few years of Q4s, I did that. And then I've chosen over the last few to take it a little bit easier in our business and rely on the replenishable products. And so I think that if you're a brand new seller, maybe you listened to this and you're a little disappointed that you're brand new and you can't sign up for the Q4 groups. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I truly think that building those replenishable products as a base up front, learning Amazon during this time is the best way to skyrocket your 2023. And then next year, you'll be well beyond the minimum if we do this again in this way to be able to actually take advantage of Q4 from a more experienced level. And so I just want to encourage you, if you are brand new, to take the time to learn. Don't feel like you're missing out on a bunch of things if you aren't just, crushing it, in this Q4, because you do need to learn the process of sourcing products and shipping them to Amazon and seeing how that all shakes out, so to speak. And for those of you that are experienced, most people have gone through that process of just grinding through a Q4 and trying to crush it. And if you haven't, then, maybe this is your year for that. But either way, in the group, we want to make sure that we're setting you up for success. And in my opinion, building foundations for 2023 is where you can start to separate yourself from the rest of Amazon sellers versus completely being focused on Q4 alone and burning out at the end of December and then not doing anything in January. And then you're behind in February, March, and April, right? So how can we give you content that will ultimately push you forward into 2023 with an amazing foundation? That's my goal with this. And that's how we've set it up. So that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, and I feel like you just kind of answered a question that I was going to go around the horn and have maybe Ryan and Honey answer as well, is just give me some basic Q4 advice. Maybe this is your first Q4. Why is Q4 such a big deal? Why do we keep talking about it so much? Which we kind of already hit on. A lot more people spending a lot more money online is what it comes down to. But any Q4 tips we've left off, just general advice from over the years, the experience, Ryan or Honey, as we wrap this one up?
I'll go real quick. I think when I first got started, it was all about, there was a book that one of our folks, one of the girls in our community wrote. I haven't heard from her in years, but she wrote a book about how, you should save up meals and put in the freezer because you're not going to have time to go eat. And it was, those are for the folks that enjoy the clearance hunt going around.
Q4
and that's
preppers
fun for some
almost,
people.
Right?
Yeah. You're not going to see your family. You're not going to sleep. Right. And so for some of you, that sounds exciting and fun. And for somebody like Honey, who has 6 kids, that sounds like a disaster. You never want to do that. And so just know that there is the more relaxed way. And that's what Jimmy said. Just build up those basic replens. It doesn't have to be this 18-hour a day type of thing. Now, if you're single, you don't have a family, and you want to go all over the country and look for deals, this is an opportunity to do that and make a ton of money.
Yeah.
But for most, us with families, that's just not going to be, and you're not going to miss out if you don't want to go around looking for clearance.
Yeah, that's a good tip. You can do it slow and steady. December can be just another boring month where there just so happens to be a lot more people shopping online.
Right.
And it's just
and a lot more sales. I mean, the sales will come too. If you've got, especially if you've got that Replans Foundation, I've found that the sales will still come. You just sell a lot more of the same boring stuff. It can work like that if that's what works for you. I was just going to add to that. And I know we've talked about this, but really, for me, a biggest part of this that is just invaluable is community, not doing this alone. A lot of times, you work in e-commerce, you have your own business, you work from home, it's really easy to just kind of sit and do your own thing. Maybe you watch a couple videos here and there, and then you just are kind of, I know what I'm doing. I can handle this. And you really do go so much further together. So whether that's, the Proven Q4 plan, what we're doing here, having that community of people that have seen the mistakes, that have seen this is what works, this is what doesn't, try this, check this out. I can't even tell you the amount of things I've learned from other people that I wouldn't have had to, I didn't have to learn every single thing the hard way, because some of it I learned from someone else. Don't do this, avoid this. Oh, here's a great tip. Here's where you can find, the best deals on supplies or whatever it is. Countless things I've learned from the community. And like we're talking about too, putting you in a mastermind, working with someone else that will push you in your business, that will encourage you, you will absolutely go farther than if you are trying to do this on your own. You can do this on your own because, you've got your own business and you can sell stuff, but this will help to propel your business further, by joining a community of other people, by connecting with other people that are doing this, we're here to cheer you on. It's not even just us, it's the whole community. We want to see your business succeed because that's not taking away from our business. And so just cheering you on, encouraging each other to do better and to succeed. I think there is something that is so invaluable about that. And this is a community that's a huge part of why we do this. We want to see your business succeed. We want to know how we can do that. And we want to, encourage each other. So it's invaluable.
Yeah. Great advice. I think I'll wrap this up unless anyone else has anything they want to share after this, but with what Q4 isn't. And I think if you went back in time 10, 12 years ago, our community wasn't quite at the maturity point they are now, where it kind of was about something very different. And Ryan, you kind of hinted at this. It's kind of like that scramble mode. Like, what's the tickle me Elmo? Remember the pie face game? Like, what's that big one that like go clear the shelves and, oh man, I still got 150 of those left over come January 15th, right? That's kind of where we were 12 years ago or so. Yes. And now we've matured into slow, steady, stable. How does this propel me for success into 2023? Let's make the Q4 an experience for more experienced sellers, because we can really move people further faster by focusing the content there. And hey, if you're new, there's never a bad time to start. It's kind of like, when's the best time to plant a tree? Well, 50 years ago or right now today. Like, those are the two best times. And that's how the Proven Amazon course is. Get started if you haven't yet. No bad time, good time. But several people do start in Q4 and find themselves ramping up quickly because there's just a lot more people shopping and spending money that time of year. Christmas has that effect, right? Black Friday, that's what it is. All the retailers finally make a profit. The Friday after Thanksgiving, that's when the year finally pays off. Well, that's because people are spending all their money for Christmas. So yeah, good episode, guys. Thanks for helping me launch this out to the community today and share it with the listeners. So any final thoughts before we wrap up? I think we got a good one though. Silence from the panel.
Yeah. I'm just excited this year. I mean, every year Amazon's continued to grow, right? Q4's continue to get bigger. The opportunity continues to amaze me. And so I'm super pumped for that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, honey, Ryan, Jimmy, thanks for joining me, guys. For the listeners out there who joined us today, it was a pleasure serving you today. Hopefully you got some great ideas. Even if you're not going to join us for our Q4 groups, even if you're not a Proven Amazon course student, heads up, a bunch of people are going to spend a bunch of money next few months and you need to be paying attention. There's going to be some great sales and great opportunity to make some money online. We'd love to be your guides if you want to get serious about that. But on behalf of the whole team that's here and those who couldn't make it even, we're just so proud and honored to be able to serve you. God bless you. Thanks for listening to this show. We'll have another great episode for you again real soon. We'll talk to you then.